Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Nightmare Mode run. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're playing the Old, which is always a super fun and interesting character. Having to dodge around enemies in a really small area can really be very skill testing, and there's a lot of fun ways to play the Old. The typical way is to go for just maximum damage, kill enemies as quickly as possible, using something like Revolver and going guns, or Icicle and going icicles, and just killing the enemies as quickly as you can. But today I'm going to try something a little bit different. We're going to go max greed, and we're going to go with Sickle as our weapon. This will allow us to offset this character's lower economy, which is often a challenge because you have reduced enemy spawns. And also just make a ton of money and then kill enemies with that money, which is very on theme, for the Old. Here, we're gonna just try to clear as many enemies in the first wave as possible. We'll take 5 harvesting, of course. With Sickle, we want our harvesting to be as strong as it can be, since that's how we're gonna scale our weapon damage. Do I care about Loot Worm? It can be nice, even on this very small map, but I think I'm going to pass on Loot Worm and Baby Gecko for now. I'll lock Peaceful Bee. Yes, it costs some melee damage, but it's still going to give us... we basically lose 0.4 damage, but we also get Harvesting. And then as we level our Sickles and their damage scaling improves, it's even better. Ugly Tooth is very strong for the Old, because you inherently slow enemies. You have minus enemy speed, and it stacks with Ugly Tooth, so they can get very slow. I'm not going to buy it yet because I really want to build my economy out first and get enough defensive stats and stuff that we don't die, but it is one to keep in mind. Broken Mouth is broken. I mean, it's just a very efficient defensive item, so we're just going to lock that there. Would I have preferred Fertilizer or something? Sure, but that's definitely good enough to lock. So the main challenge for this character is typically that elite waves are extremely hard because you're in a really small space. So you just want to kill elites as quickly as possible with most runs with the Old. And we won't be able to do that as easily. Nice, two solid items for us. I'll also just take 3 regen here and then 6 max HP, just get some good level 2 upgrades going. And we won't be able to do that as easily because Sickle takes a little while to get going, and because we need to build up Harvesting, and is a melee weapon, so we are just inherently in more danger on this small map. But I think it's still going to be a really fun option for beating the elites, and because we have a Horde wave as our first wave, we have a little more time to build up to the point where we can survive an elite. So far, we're ahead on economy, because this character starts with Harvesting. Oh, nice. Can I get this Curse Alien kill? I do want Curse. It's a little dangerous on this small map, but I think it's still good here. Do I want Attack Speed, Armor, or to reroll? I think I'll just take the Armor. We're going to need a ton of Armor, and we're going to need it pretty quickly, because every hit we take is so dangerous on Nightmare. I could take 6 movement speed to offset our minus 10, but I'm going to roll here. I'm looking for Harvesting, because we do, of course, need to scale our Harvesting both for our income and for our weapons. We'll ban Book here and re-roll. Scared Sausage is actually a little more interesting for this run just because we need a little more damage, but I still don't think that we're gonna do anything with that, so I'll just ban it here. We'll buy the Sickle. Lock Gentle Alien. This offsets one of the main penalties for the Old, which is fewer enemies, meaning less money. So Gentle Alien is always incredible. And then we'll roll, lock a Whistle, roll. I'm still looking for more Sickles while we have guaranteed weapons in the shop. And nice, we get to lock the entire shop. That's awesome. So basically my goal is to get to about 300 or so Harvesting as soon as we can, and then it'll start growing itself really rapidly, and then we can focus on defensive stats. But we can't neglect our defenses entirely in the meantime, because 300 harvesting is a lofty goal. really nice to get a crate there. Fertilizer, amazing. And then I'm going to roll here. We'll take 5 more harvesting. And then I'm going to roll here, and we'll take 8 more harvesting. Perfect. We're up to 82, which is really solid for this point in the game. I will re-roll. We'll definitely buy lemonade. Consumable healing in this tiny map is really powerful. I can't really buy Weird Ghost. I think it's late enough in the run that it's hard not to take hits. And then we'll roll again. Rat is interesting. It can help us clear stuff. Baby Gecko, I wouldn't mind a good range upgrade, but this is basically +5 range for sickles, because melee weapons use range at half value. So it's a, what's that, 1 in 25? A 1/25th increase to our weapon range, not particularly impactful. And we're not leaving a lot of materials on the ground. I think I'm just going to ban both of these. The more we can have things like Peaceful Bee, Fertilizer, Gentle Alien, etc. show up, and the earlier we can get those, the better. I will take a Claw Tree, because this weapon does have 2x crit damage, so Claw Tree is solid, and melee damage isn't completely useless. We'd prefer to scale our weapon with harvesting, but melee damage obviously does work as well. So Claw Tree is fine, I think. And we have enough max HP right now that I can afford to spend one. If you're doing this run yourself and just looking to maximize your win rate, it's possible that just avoiding Curse is actually the strongest way to do it. But I'm not going to do that, because the whole point of this run is to max out Greed. 200 materials on Wave 5 Abyss is very nice. We'll take 15 luck here, and then we'll buy these items. I wish this was a sickle, so I could just ban Jelly and get a reroll. I'll take the sickle. I will take a loot worm now. I'll roll here. Metal detector. I mean, I am maxing greed, but this, I think, is too greedy, even for me on Nightmare mode. It just, reducing our damage is so bad. I'm going to roll here. Okay, this is really nice. So which of these do I want? I could buy 28 plus 28 is 56, so I could buy both of these items and lock Gentle Alien. Since we can buy 2 things, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. It means we see more items next chop. And leveling our weapon, it also means that a level 1 sickle could spawn in the next chop, which could help us level our weapons. So very, very important to level our weapons quickly. The enhanced anemone, definitely super, super scary on this tiny map. These are going to be the things that, if I lose this run, it's going to be to these guys, probably. Those are the vampire squids. Or an elite. Of course, the old can always die to elite. But these enemies are really terrifying on such a small map. I'll take the Cyberball out of a box, I guess. It's a pretty weak item in Nightmare. It's very hard for it to do enough damage that it actually matters, but I think it is still okay here. Alright, so here I could take 3 armor, I could take 15 attack speed, I desperately need attack speed, we have none. I could also roll for more harvesting. I think I'm just going to take the 3 armor, though. Perfect shop for us, we get to upgrade our weapons, and our plan of buying the sickle actually worked out. Kind of helpful to note that buying the level 1 sickle meant we got to buy an extra weapon level. We'll take the mushroom here, and then I'm going to do one more reroll. I'll buy Scar as well. Saving my last ban for a free reroll also. There's no real science behind the habit I've developed of ban a bunch of level 1 items and then use my last ban for a free reroll, but it's felt like it's worked out very well. It strikes a reasonable mix, I think, of improving our shop pool early and still getting at least some reroll value, which is pretty important. So that's just the heuristic that I'm going with. But it's possible there's more optimal ways to use bans. I mean, I think it's actually very likely that the most optimal way to use bans is just as free rerolls and to otherwise completely ignore the ban mechanic. I'm gonna buy all these items and then roll. Nice, we got some even more weapon levels. And can I buy everything here? Not quite, we're just short. So I'll buy fertilizer, I'll buy the level 1 sickle, and the level 2 sickle, and we'll lock cake. I do need more max HP, but again, I wanted more sickles to be able to show up. Losing armor, of course, very painful, but a cursed sunglasses for 17 crit chance is a ton of damage, so we're pretty happy with that. With a weapon this short-ranged, and it's melee, so even if we get a good range upgrade, it won't do that much. We just need to be really tanky, because it's going to be hard not to take hits. Especially on this small map, we have less space to dodge. I'm going to kill these goblin sharks before I break the blop fish, and that way I can focus on killing all the dangerous enemies in sequence instead of in parallel. A little easier that way. Tanked a lot of hits there, so I need to be pretty careful. We'll pick up some consumables, and then we're in good shape. Losing to harvesting is very painful, obviously, on a weapon that scales with harvesting, but I'm going to take the bat anyways. I'll take Pocket Factory, pull it out of the pool. We'll take 8 harvesting. I'm going to re-roll, and then 6 melee damage isn't terrible. It will scale my sickle damage reasonably well. It's like +5 per attack, which isn't bad. I think I will take that over the 6 HP. The movement speed is also nice, but I don't really need move speed that badly until wave 14. Move speed is at its best against elites, so I can kind of focus on other things up until that point. I'll keep leveling my weapons. We'll lock the spicy sauce. I do need more max HP, and then we'll lock a lemonade and a head injury. Here I can lock the bandana and just ban it, get a free reroll. Notice how bad our cyberball still is. Alright, so these enemies, really dangerous. The enhanced vampire squids, the brainy squids. The thing about the brainy squids is they're really, really tough for melee characters to beat. But I personally don't find them as offensive as the enhanced spitters because the Abyss is just not as challenging for melee characters as Crash Zone is. Crash Zone has so many enemies that are disproportionately difficult for melee characters, so having one really tough challenge for a melee build on the Abyss, I don't mind. Even though those are very dangerous enemies. The Bonk Dog, I'm just going to recycle this. I want control over what I'm killing, so I don't actually really want stuff like that. I'm going to take the luck there. And then I could take some movement speed, I could take some max HP or regen, but let's roll. I'm going to roll for armor or harvesting. Let's roll again. Oh, actually, I'm going to take 15 attack speed. Our attack speed was still 0, which is horrible. And we're going into a horde wave, so attack speed is going to be extremely important for the horde wave. I'll buy padding just to get a little more max HP and pull a unique item out of the pool. Medical turret is a little better for the olds since we're on a small map, so we're always going to be in range of the medical turret. Or we can easily arrange to be in range of the medical turret. So I'm going to pick it up. We'll buy Shady Potion. We'll roll here. We'll buy Leather Vest. We'll buy Little Muscly Dude. Not going to buy Baby Elephant at full price. And then we'll just go to the next wave. Probably I should have recycled the Cyberball, but it showed up for cheap in a box. And I was curious at how it would do in this run, so we'll see. By the time it actually starts accomplishing anything, I think basically, if we're ever strong enough for the Cyber Ball to do anything useful, I think we will be strong enough to win the run. So I don't think the Cyber Ball is going to have any effect on whether we win or not, no matter what the final stats on it are. So I think, yeah, I probably should have just taken the 14 materials or whatever it was. I'm going to play over here around my medical turret because I took a bunch of hits. And you can see that our 15 attack speed was very important here. I need to run away from all these walruses that spawn at the end of wave 10 and try to pick up some materials, but we made good money. We'll take the metal, that helps fix my move speed, take 12% damage, that's great. I'm going to buy these items, and I'll buy the feather as well. We have 8 dodge already, so we can probably build dodge, and we will want to build dodge eventually. Okay, interesting spot here. I do actually want all these enemy move speed reducing items, Snail and Ugly Tooth. I think I will buy Bat as well, even though it reduces my harvesting. We have not hit the 300 harvesting mark, and we probably won't. That was maybe a little ambitious, because I do need defensive stats before I go into the Horde and Elite Wave. I think I'm just going to buy these two. We don't need the Bat yet. We can still reroll. Wisdom, we are probably going to take a long time to kill elites, so I'm going to buy the Wisdom because it can help me later in the waves. One thing also that can help with playing the old is turning off Screen Shake. Screen Shake is, you know, it's a preference. Some people like it, some people don't, whatever. But on this very tiny map, the Screen Shake jiggling the edges of the map can be very, very distracting, because it's much more noticeable on the small map, since the way that it works in Brotato is it kind of wiggles the map under your character. So I find that and we have it off here, I find that for the old, it's more impactful on whether you can dodge and stuff than it is for other characters. So if you have Screen Shake on and you're struggling to dodge on this character, turning it off can help. We'll recycle the landmines here. I'll just take 9 more max HP, just getting to the point where we're not dying in just a few hits. And then I'll take 2 more lifesteal. I want enough lifesteal that we can meaningfully survive when we're surrounded entirely by enemies. Okay, really interesting spot here. I'm going to take the Cursed Fruit Basket because we're going into a Horde wave, so this is going to be a huge increase to our survivability. And then I'll take the Cake, lock Bait and Sickle, and then do a reroll here, and we'll lock another Cake. I'm not going to lock Goldfish, I just don't respect that item very much. So often you spend 70 on it and then just don't buy anything out of the next shop, and it's completely wasted money. Gotta focus on killing the Enhanced Hatcher, gotta kill these Cursed Clams. Oops. Tanking 2 hits there was a little rough, but the Horde Wave with the Fruit Basket giving me so much additional healing is really nice. What I really need at this point is just armor and dodge. And we're still making pretty good income because we have a bunch of harvesting. Not as much as I'd like, but a bunch. We'll take the Clockwork Wasp. We'll take Treasure Map for sure. Okay, I'll take 12 dodge. That actually gets us very close to getting enough dodge. We'll buy Sickle, Bait, Cake, and I'll buy the Garden as well. We have improved tools. We're going to buy more attack speed. We have double Penguin, and we have +5 consumable healing. So the consumables are really good for us. We'll buy Little Muscly Dude, do a reroll here. I'll take Saltwater, get that out of the pool, and then we'll roll again, and roll again. And I'll buy a Sickle. Do I want a second Garden? I think that's pretty solid, and my percent damage is very low, so we'll lock Injection as well. Of course, we have Wisdom, so our percent damage is going to increase over time, but I need to be really careful not to die to these cursed pufferfish. The enhanced pufferfish explosions can be very hard to dodge, so I just need to approach them from the diagonal. When you kill them with a melee weapon, they only attack in the cardinal directions, so if you approach them orthogonally, you're not going to get hit. So we always want to approach them from the outside. Why did that one explode, do its full explosion? I guess the turret got it, our Pocket Factory turret. Or the cyber ball. Because yeah. So the cyber ball there, I think, is what is killing that and causing the full explosion. Or the Pocket Factory turret. We'll take the blindfold here. I'll take 3 armor. I definitely need more of that. And then we'll keep upgrading our weapons. We'll buy this. I'll buy the pile of books. We get a discount on it and a discounted reroll next wave or next chop if we reroll again. 5 crit chance isn't awful. This weapon does have 2x crit damage. And then I can roll again. I actually don't want community support. We're going to be killing enemies so quickly that the community support just doesn't do much. So I could buy Treasure Map and try to greed a bit. I could buy Helmet or Blood Leech and try to stay alive. I think we're strong enough I can buy Treasure Map and greed here. Then I'll do one more reroll and lock a sickle. And of course the theme of this run is maximum greed. But I'm feeling okay with our medical turret and double garden that we have solid healing even if, and very strong consumable healing. We have solid healing even if my health gets dropped a little bit relatively early. So, given that we're going to get a crate this wave, the treasure map, the extra treasure map is going to get value. Assuming I kill the elite, obviously, we're going to get a crate. Also, remember, our damage looked a little weak at the beginning of the wave, but we have wisdom, so it's going to be increasing over time. Also, I often get the question when I buy something like Penguin or Jerky is, why don't I just aggressively pick up all of the consumables at full health? The answer is because I like having consumable healing. It's better than getting the little bits of regen. Penguin is mostly because it just gives you 1 regen, and often it's like 2 or 3 in a wave. And 3 regen for the price of a level 1 item is just good. I'll take the gnome here. The minus pickup range and minus range are actually fairly negative, the minus pickup range especially, but it is plus 10 melee damage, which is 8 damage per hit, so it's worth getting. I'll take 3 lifesteal here because it's a level 3 upgrade. We'll buy another Peaceful Bee going over 30 dodge, which is nice. We can buy all of this. It does cost me harvesting to buy Blood Leech, but we need healing more than harvesting at this point. And then we'll buy a couple coupons. I'll buy Feather and we'll lock Garden. Even more Gardens is pretty nice. And then I'm going to do one more reroll looking for Sickles. I really need to be offered more harvesting. A tractor would be so nice for us right now. I don't quite have enough regen to offset the damage over time, but I would still take a blood donation. Because we have good lifesteal, we have good consumable healing. I'm gonna make sure that we don't let the enhanced slashers spawn. Those guys, of course, are super dangerous. Especially in this very small area. Similarly, once the stargazers start showing up, we absolutely have to prevent them from spawning, because it's just going to be way too many attacks to easily avoid. Another lemonade, awesome. I'm going to take the regen over the crit chance here, because I just need a bunch more of that. Another great shop for us. We're very happy with that. We will, even though it cost me dodge, which I am building, I'm still going to buy weird food, but I'll buy the weapon first, and we'll lock weird food and beanie, and then I'll do a reroll. So the non-enhanced stargazers, I can just clear the towers and it's going to be fairly easy. The enhanced ones, I might have to be a little more careful about killing them before I kill the tower, just because they end up with so much health and so much move speed that on this small map, it's going to be hard to dodge them. There's our pal, Cool Walrus. Gonna run around the outside of the map, clearing these curse aliens, because we do want more curse. The cursed enhanced walrus, so much health on those guys. It took forever to kill it. Yeah, we'll take the mushroom. I'm gonna do a reroll here, and I have a bunch of lifesteal. Let's take a little more harvesting. My damage is feeling a little low, so I do actually want to increase that. Honey doesn't do anything for us other than 5 curse, which is just a very expensive 5 curse, so I'm going to pass on it. Coffee is one of the best items we could find. Do I want a bean teacher this late? We have positive XP gain. Will it get me to 25? I think we're going to hit 25 anyways, so I'm going to pass on the bean teacher here. And then I will roll again. We'll definitely buy Peaceful Bee. We'll buy Wings as well, which will fix my move speed and offset our highly negative range at least a tiny bit. Not that we're ever going to be able to buy enough range to get to an amount that matters. So this is a darkness wave, much less of a problem, of course, than the projectile waves for the old, as well as for pretty much every character. Playing on full projectile mode is funny because the darkness waves are just kind of breaks. They're so much easier. As always, I should say, with full projectile mode, I play on full projectile mode because it makes for better guides, because it's less random, the difficulty is less random, so we don't just win a run just because we got an easy projectile pattern. And also because I enjoy the challenge. You do not have to play on full projectile mode, and shouldn't unless you specifically want to. If you win the game, the way the game is intended to be played, that's winning. I'm going to take the adrenaline here, and we're up to 40 dodge, which is pretty good, and then we'll go straight into this next wave. Try to deal a bunch of damage to the elite early, though I am going to take a few hits here. I need to pick up some consumables. This elite is going to be a challenge because the triple attack pattern is fairly dangerous on the old, so I'm trying to attack it only in stages, so I'm waiting for it to use its attacks, and then when I have full health and it's used its attacks, I can go in. Oh no, I let a mini-boss spawn and it spawned cursed. This is more dangerous than the elite. Its attacks are harder to avoid. I was able to kill it. But yeah, letting those spawn is one of the easiest loss conditions for this run, is just letting 1 or 2 of those spawn. They spawn cursed and then just hit me 5 times for 100 damage each. We're only getting, so we're 77, we're getting just 3 HP, a regen, and a lifesteal. But for 77, that's still worth it. Okay, losing 3 armor is very bad, but going up to 50 dodge is pretty nice, so I will take the ghost outfit here. I'll roll. I will buy the insanity. I don't have a way to set enemies on fire, right? So fried rice doesn't do anything. And then I'll roll again, and I need to fix my armor and dodge this wave, basically. Notice that we are hitting level 25, so I didn't need the extra XP gain. It's important to, when you're looking at XP gain, to see what levels it's actually going to get you. Because level 25 is a guaranteed red upgrade, so it's really high value. Hitting level 26 is still good, but it's much less important, because you're probably going to get like a good level 2 or a somewhat random level 3. And it might cost you more rolling for stats and stuff. So, while it's obviously good to get more levels, because you get more stats, it's much less value to hit the extra levels, not in increments of 5. One thing I'd have really liked is a little more luck. We are getting good consumable drops because of the fruit basket, but more of those would still have been very helpful. Bag doesn't do anything going into the last wave. Catling gun is some lifesteal. I guess I'll take it, and then I'm going to roll here, and I'll take dodge or armor, whichever shows up first. Attack speed we also really need, but I still just need dodge or armor. Come on, game. Okay, nice. We got 4 armor. Cursed fried rice. So I could take this in the hopes of rolling Blazemander, Incendiary Turret, or Scared Sausage. If we do roll one of those items, it would be really good. But I think that the likelihood is just too low. Alright, is it worth selling a level 3 sickle for the cursed level 1? It attacks faster and has plus 41 instead of plus 40. That's funny. Has very slightly more damage. I think it is, and partly because it's almost free. We get basically almost all of the money back by selling the level 3. And if I find another level 1 sickle, it's really good. Otherwise, it's kind of a waste, but that's okay. I'll take Cauldron. That's going to increase our damage. I'm going to roll here. We'll take Head Injury. We'll take Penguin. I don't want Scarf going into the last wave, even though the stats would be good. This is a very good spot to buy Not, because we would just be able to max out our character power, and we're not going to be able to buy anything anyways, so let's just buy the Not here, and then we'll go to wave 20. Yes, I technically could maybe have found a level 1 sickle if I kept rolling, but the odds of that are just so low. I think it's better just to buy the stats and kill the elites a little faster. Alright, so I'm tanking a lot of hits here. I need to be pretty careful, go to my consumables, try to actually clear the elite. Need to run away and grab some healing. And then we're trying to use our lifesteal. Got the full heal, but I played this wave really badly. But you can see why the old can still be quite difficult. I need to clear that before a mini-boss spawns. You can see why the old can still be quite difficult. Even when you're quite powerful, just because there's less room to dodge, so you can take hits, even in the end game. So, yeah, that was a rough wave. I played it pretty bad, but we were able to win, and our greedy sickle build got us there. So we ended with 260 harvesting. I'd have loved to hit way more than that, but the items just weren't there. We had 117 healing off Cute Monkey, so it did amazingly. These early Peaceful Bees and Fertilizers were great. Early Gentle Alien also really helped. 87 materials off Loot Worm, which is not bad for the old on a melee weapon, because we weren't expecting it to pick up a lot of materials. The Cyber Ball dealt 15k damage. I already talked about this. I definitely should have just recycled the Cyber Ball. It was useless throughout the entire run. Spicy Sauce dealt 20k damage. Now, this is only a little more damage than the Cyber Ball, but it's actually relevant damage because it's hitting stuff that's on top of you in large instances, so it's killing it more easily. So the Spicy Sauce here was actually quite good. You can't just look at the raw damage numbers. You have to account for what it's actually doing during the game that you're actually playing. And killing enemies that are close to you with big chunks of damage is way better than randomly dealing little bits of damage to a lot of enemies that you were just going to two-tap with your weapons, regardless of whether they've taken 17 or not. The medical turret was great. Excellent purchase there. What else? The fruit basket gave us 69 extra fruits. Nice. We got only 3 items off treasure map, a little disappointing. Especially because we had okay luck, not incredible, but okay. And then 260 materials off coupon, our bag near the end for 100 materials. Grind's Magical Leaf giving us minimum stats, but it's fine. And then the Gatling gun was just for lifesteal, so we don't really care about its damage. Alright, my friends, I hope that you enjoyed that run, and of course, if you have, then feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.